Can you hear me?
Yeah. Hammer it home again.
Dama's not going to be here.
Okay.
This thing on?
Text.
Are you sure they're on?
Can you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you hear us back there?
Now we
Is your
can.
green light?
All right, everybody. Let's have your attention at 6 o'clock. We will call the Tuesday, April 14th, 2026 Faribault City Council meeting to order. First item on tonight's agenda is roll call.
Councilmember Barnes.
Here.
Dumbuya. Ross.
Here.
Rowan.
Here.
Van Sluis.
Here.
Teal.
Here.
Mayor Spooner.
Here, and pledge of allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our next item is approval of the agenda. Anybody?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Roan, second by Van Sluis to approve the agenda. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The agenda is approved. Up next, tonight we have quite a few presentations. John Sherwin, Police Chief, please come forward with our police appreciation and awards tonight. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Thank you, members of the council, members of the public. Thank you all for coming here tonight. We don't normally do an awards presentation before the council, but we had a really good run between mid-February and mid-March, and I felt it necessary to recognize the actions of officers involved with these incidents that I'm going to give you a brief summary about tonight, as well as give them awards and recognition for their actions. I'll start by saying that the officers and deputies that are here tonight and first responders, we have a dispatcher as well, they probably don't want to be here. We don't do this job for the recognition. When I first became a police officer, I had a lieutenant that told me the bravest thing that you will do is take your oath of office, because everything else that you do is just doing your job. And I think the officers here will tell you that, but their actions were such that I think they need recognized. First, I'd like to call Deputy Borash, Deputy Lee, and Officer Wunderlich forward. I'll give you a quick summary of this incident. On Friday, March 6th of this year, Faribault officers, assisted by Rice County deputies, we work really well together. It's not like the movies. We work really well together. We responded to an individual that had been stabbed in the city of Faribault. The victim was unresponsive and had lost a significant amount of blood. In fact, officers later learned from a responding flight nurse that the individual's blood pressure was 40/0. A reading this low indicates the final stages of this is a hard word, exsanguination, which is death due to blood loss. Officer Wunderlich was the first officer to arrive. He quickly applied a tourniquet to the individual's upper arm. Deputy Borash soon followed, and they were assisted by Deputy Lee, who removed clothing, and we had a second tourniquet applied. Because of their actions, and probably nobody remembers Friday, March 6th, but it was a foggy night. The snow was kind of melting. There was no flight helicopter available, but because of the tourniquet, they saved this individual's lives. So because of that, I'll be presenting them with life-saving awards. We're presenting so many awards, I ran out of the fancy covers. So Deputy Borash, that's for you. Deputy Lee, this is a commendation award for your actions. And Officer Wunderlich, here you are. And then I have medals for Deputy Borash and Deputy Officer Wunderlich. So thank you for your actions. Okay, next up, Officer Nick Smith, come forward. Please get used to Officer Smith's face because he's going to be standing here for 2 more presentations as well. So, during the early morning hours of March 12th, Officer Nick Smith responded to a missing juvenile. Officer Smith's investigation revealed there was much more to the story, and the juvenile was being solicited for sexual activity. Using technology and tools at his disposal, Officer Smith went above and beyond in developing a suspect profile for department detectives while ensuring the juvenile was safe. For his actions, Officer Smith is awarded a written commendation. I'll send this to you. I'll see. Stay there. Next up, Officer Angel Perez. And you notice Officer Smith isn't going anywhere. On February 16th, 2026, Officer Nick Smith and Officer Angel Perez responded to a life-threatening medical emergency in Faribault. The victim was unconscious and suffering from an obstructed airway. Both Officer Smith and Perez began life-saving measures, and with the help and coordination of firefighters and paramedics, the obstruction was dislodged and the victim's condition immediately improved. For their actions, Officer Smith and Perez are awarded the Department Life-Saving Award. This to you. Go. Now Officer Smith and Officer Perez get to stand here for the next incident. Officer Fisher and Dispatcher Atlanta Schultz, please come forward. So on February 18th, 2026, spoiler alert, many of you may have seen this video. We put a video out and it got a lot of views, but a 911 caller reported their home was on fire and their family was trapped on the second floor. Rice Steel 911 Center Public Safety Telecommunicator, I believe that's your official title, Atlanta Schultz promptly dispatched Faribault Police and Fire to the residents and relayed essential information. Officer Nick Smith was the first officer to arrive, finding the front of the residence fully engulfed with heavy fire conditions. As he ran to the back of the home, Officer Smith realized the trapped family had made their way to the roof, but remained trapped. Thinking quickly, Officer Smith directed a resident to back up his truck, and about that time, Officer Fisher and Officer Perez arrived on scene, and they coordinated a rescue from the roof by lowering the victims down onto the bed of the pickup truck and getting them to safety, just like Hollywood, as a propane tank exploded on the front of the home. So because of that, for Officer Nick Smith to think so quickly like that, we're going a little bit above and beyond the life-saving award. This is a Medal of Merit for your truly smart and heroic actions. For Officer Perez, Officer Fisher, for your assistance, you receive written commendations. And for Atlanta, we will also provide you a written commendation. I apologize, we ran all the fancy ones. But thank you so much for your actions. And that is all I have. So, Mayor, Council, thank you for allowing us to honor the officers and first responders for their actions.
Thank you.
Thank you. I would just like to point out, and I speak for everyone up here in council, thank you to everyone in law enforcement for all you do. We appreciate it. Hear me? Yep. We have a couple proclamations that we read every year at this time that are very important to our city. From the office of the mayor of the city of Faribault. Oh, who would like to come forward on this? Do we have anybody for the pollinators group? Who would like to come? Come stand up here. Whereas pollinator species such as birds, bees, bugs, and other insects are essential partners for farmers in producing much of our food supply. And whereas pollinators play a vital role in the health of our trees and plants, our community, enhancing the quality of life, creating recreational and economic development opportunities. And whereas the city of Faribault has managed our urban landscape and public lands that include many municipal parks and greenways, as well as wildlife habitats. And whereas in 2017, Faribault passed a pollinator-friendly resolution, which led to the city's recognition in 2019 by the Pollinator Friendly Alliance of Minnesota. And whereas the city has partnered with Grows, gardeners research reaching out with service, local gardening group to provide educational opportunities and encourage citizens to plant pollinator-friendly species. Now therefore, I, Thomas J. Spooner, Mayor of the City of Faribault, do hereby proclaim the month of May 2026 as Pollinator Friendly Month. Who would like to speak?
I will start out. I'm president of Grows Garden Club, which has been in Faribault 32 years, and Partners for Pollinators grew out of Grows. And so we have partnered with the city um, with planting flower beds in Central Park. And the recent addition to that, through the Partners for Pollinators and Grows, is a native garden area there. So I'll let Ann speak more about Partners for Pollinators.
Hi, I'm Ann Poe, and I am a partner for pollinators. I brought along our brochure. We published this a few years back. It explains what our role is with the city, and we do partner with businesses. The biggest one that you might recognize, well, I shouldn't go by size, but is the Woolen Mills. They have a huge garden, and once a year, just at butterfly time, at the 1st of September, when all the monarchs, I mean, I'm talking hundreds of monarchs, come to their garden. They have a sale, and they ask us to come and host their garden. And so we get to meet people from all over, and we're so pleased to brag about Faribault and what Faribault has allowed us to do as pollinators. We also have, oh, there's our sign. Polly, you're working, Pat, thank you. This is the sign you might see around town. People who have this sign have put 70% natives into their gardens and maintain those gardens. And they're maintained for the pollinators. I want to just say quickly that if you see a butterfly on your flowers, you should remember that there are no butterflies without caterpillars, and there are no caterpillars without host plants. And that's where native plants come in. Our pollinator insects have evolved for thousands of years right here, and they have evolved with the native plants, the ones that grew here on the prairie, the ones that belong here. And they receive most of their nutrients from those native plants. So as wonderful human beings, we have changed plants. We have hybrid plants. And you might buy a geranium that once only had one row of petals, and today it has 3 deep rows of gorgeous petals. There's a big problem. Our pollinators cannot get any nectar from that. They can't get into the middle of that plant. And so that's why we're always talking about native plants. And the problem is, gorgeous, and pollinators will use a few other plants, but the majority of their subsistence ones that they evolved with. And so looking for native plants and native trees is really important. The other part of that is if you look at a chickadee or other bird right now this spring, you need to realize baby birds cannot chew seeds. Baby birds aren't going to eat from your bird feeder, nor can daddy and mommy take them some seed. They have to have insects. They have to have caterpillars. And so you can only get caterpillars if you have those native plants for those caterpillars. So a chickadee, if you're ready for this, if they want to raise one brood of their chickadee babies, it takes 6,000 caterpillars to do that. That's a lot. And actually, That's one of the reasons our birds are dying out. They don't have enough insects for their babies. And of course, we also know that chemicals cause a big problem. And that's why we really appreciate the work that our city does in allowing us to provided us spots for native gardens, as you talked about, gardens, Groves Gardens. In Central Park, we have a garden in our new Heritage Bluffs Park down by the water pad, and the city provides us that land and we maintain it. So we appreciate that land. We appreciate the city trying to do their best in limiting the pesticides and other chemicals that are used on our public lands. We just felt really good about working with the city. One of the things that happens is we travel, especially around Rice County and Steele County. And so when we're there, we get to brag, and we always get to take our pamphlet along that says what we're doing, and we get to say our city supports us, and we are very proud of that. So I want to thank you again for supporting us.
Also, another credit to the city, they produce these signs. And anybody wanting to set up a garden can contact us and set that up. But also the city has cooperated with us in forming, in order for us to become Tree City USA, which we are now, we had to have a tree committee. So with the city, we have a tree committee that works together. And I can't tell you how important the urban forest is in Faribault. It not only cools your home, but it helps heat your home. I want to thank the city park and rec stuff. We have 44 parks and 22 playgrounds, and they have been working diligently with the ash borer problem. They took over 500 trees down. And in, I think it's in Alexander, they only have 51 left to go. So we're really working close with the city with that. In order to, we help them out, because we host an annual plant sale. And with that money, we give it to the city to purchase some trees. So with that, I want to give Tom a check from Gross for $700. And I won't plant many trees, but it's a start from what the city uses for their overall budget. And we're going to be planting one of them on Arbor Day, which is going to be coming up on the 24th at Batchelder Park at 9 o'clock in the morning, and you're all welcome to come and help us plant a tree. And with that, he'll do the Arbor Day.
That's a great segue. Also from the Office of the Mayor. Whereas Arbor Day provides Minnesota the opportunity to celebrate its importance of trees and forests to our economy, culture, history, and future of our state. And whereas trees are a great value as they provide clean air, water, shade, and energy savings, wildlife habitat, recreation opportunities, wood products, and jobs while capturing and storing carbon from the atmosphere, therefore offsetting greenhouse gas and emissions. And whereas properly planting and caring for a diverse mix of trees makes our community forests more resilient by minimizing the impacts of disease, insects, and other stressors such as climate change, and providing for long-term community and environmental benefits. And whereas Minnesota is at risk of losing 1 billion ash trees due to the emerald ash borer, potentially increasing CO2 emissions and floodings. And whereas thoughtfully choosing, planting, and caring for a diverse mix of trees now supports resilience communities into our future. And whereas our local community is beautiful in order to stay that way and meeting the needs of local assistance. Whereas we encourage everyone to clean up their yards and nearby public spaces when possible. Now, therefore, I, Thomas J. Spooner, Mayor of Faribault, do proclaim April 24th, 2026 as Arbor Day and Beautification Day. All right, on to item 4, approval of the minutes of March 24th, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Ross, second by Barnes. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The minutes are passed. Requests to be heard. We have a couple of them tonight. Please come forward, state your name and address. Kathy Holbon, please come forward. And you have 3 minutes.
Mr. Spooner, Mayor Spooner, and council members, thank you for allowing me to speak. I'm here in opposition to the potential building of the apartment buildings over by Walmart. There was a prior similar endeavor up by the clinic in 2019, and we opposed that as well. I have traveled all over the world and worked in many, many different countries, setting up companies and offices, and I have never had the experience that I have had with the lack of wanting to assimilate into an organization, whether it be a business that you're working with or the country. The Muslim group, or the Muslim community has stated they will not overtake us by war, they will overtake us by population. And I'm concerned that more and more Somalians will be coming into this community, and if you go down and you talk to people, people do not want to go down our Main Street. And Main Street is a vital part of our community. So I'm concerned about the infrastructure, the traffic, the crime that may occur, sewer, water, the amount of traffic alone in that area I would think would be outstanding. I mean, just a lot of it. So it's already a congested area in there. And unless you're willing to do more with monitoring the traffic, we're going to have a problem. And the last thing I want to say is I would not support anything that has to do with the potential of us having fraud in our community. We have too good of a community to put our community in jeopardy. Thank you.
Thank you. Karen Zeller.
Thank you to the City Council, Mayor Spooner. I'm back again in opposition to the data
Could you state
center.
your name and address, please?
Oh, Karen Zeller. You already said my name, so I thought. Karen Zeller and 16972 Acorn Trail. And I've lived in Faribault over 40 years. I wasn't born and raised here, but I'm pretty invested in this community. And I am very concerned about the negative impact on our community of a data center. I passed out information. You each have one of these, which I've done some research, and you can take a look at that. So I'm not going to go over all of those. But I do share especially the environmental concern. I mean, we can see how important the environment is in this town. You've got this group with the grows, you've got all sorts of environmental, you've got a lot of parks, we've got the nature center. Environment is a big part of Faribault, Minnesota. And putting in something like a data center that is going to have not a positive impact on our environment, don't even begin to think that that's going to happen. The amount of forever chemicals, the PFAS that they emit into the atmosphere and the groundwater is toxic, and it's going to harm us for generations. I'm not going to live long enough to see the negative repercussions of a data center. But your grandchildren, my grandchildren, and their children are going to reap the negative impact of this. Also, I would urge the council not to make sure that area set aside right now that's looked at for the data center that they're looking at, we're not boxing our community in. There's a potential of getting lots of good businesses in, TriStar, Dakin, St. Gobain, that add to our community, that add people and technical people, all kinds of people to our community to make it grow. A data center isn't going to do that. A data center, if you know, I'm sure you've done some research, you know that a data center, when it's fully operational, has less than a dozen people. Most of them have about 4 or 5 people that monitor the data center. And think about this. Do you think they're going to live in Faribault? No, they're going to be living in the Twin Cities and commuting. I mean, we're an easy commute from the city. That's where they're going to add to our community. They'll only take away. Financially, if you think about the impact on our utility bills, impact on our water, they're going to take our clean water that we are doing in our treatment plant. They take that clean water and we're going to regurgitate dirty water. Do you know that you cannot get PFAS out of the water by a water treatment plant? It's a forever chemical. Am I out of time?
Yep.
Darn it. I have plenty more to say. But at any rate, thanks for giving me this opportunity.
Gail DeGroot. Please state your name and address.
Gail DeGrood, 21126 Bagley Avenue in Faribault. Mr. Spooner and the City Council, I just wanted to bring up, I'm concerned about the apartment building that's being considered by Walmart. We live really close to that location. My husband farms, and right now our farm is across from our home, which is by El Tequila, across from there, and next to the trailer park. So we have problems with vandalism in that field already, and so now we do own the field right by where this apartment building is being planned. So concerned about more problems with vandalism and with farm prices the way they are and everything. It's just tough right now. So that's a big concern for us. Also, I'm concerned about the traffic in that area because we already have the one apartment building plus the trailer court, and then the Walmart's right there too. So it brings a lot of traffic into that four-way stop. And then also, like, I know they're talking about other apartment buildings too coming to town. So concerned about like the school, like it being overcrowded. Like our school district is known to be low ranking right now. So to bring a bunch of more people into the community isn't going to help the school at all. And also, like, even the infrastructure and our public services, like the police and all that, I mean, it's going to be they'll have to have more to do, and will they get to the calls soon enough? I know even right now when I go to the clinic, I used to be able to get in, like, I could get in a week, to make my appointment. Now I'm looking at a month before I can get in. So it's like even our medical system in the town is not like it used to be. So just all my concerns for bringing a whole bunch of apartments into the area. So thanks for listening.
Thank you. Linda Boudreau.
Linda Boudreau, 16450 Ames Way, Faribault. Good evening, Mayor and City Council members. I'm here because I'm hearing expressed concerns from our community about the high-density proposal on the 10 acres, subsidized housing as well. I got a lot of notes that are all mixed up here. I guess the first question is, the proposal has the potential to add up to 3,000 or more people. How many of the renters that would be coming in would come from Minneapolis, St. Paul, other metro cities since vouchers can be interchangeable throughout the whole state. Housing is tough in those areas. I mean, it's tight, so they're looking for other place to use their vouchers. Those are some of the questions that I'm hearing. Also, can the city control what happens on the 10-acre compound? Can it control the activities, the construction? Some of those are questions that need to be answered. How would this proposal change the composition of the community? Especially if people are coming from Minneapolis to live here. And also, I think the proposal really begs for more specifics, financial numbers, who is coming from where and how many vouchers would be coming. I don't know that we have the ability to control that. I'm sorry, I don't know the specifics, but those are the questions that I think we need to have answers for, and I thank you for listening.
Thank you. That is all we have on tonight's list. Thank you all. On to item number 6, consent agenda items. We have 6A through 6Q. Would anybody like anything pulled?
Mayor?
Yes.
Administrator Kinzer, I don't want anything pulled, but I would just like to request that all CIP purchases in the consent agenda include the amount that was in the CIP or approved in the CIP, along with the final bid amounts in the future.
Yep.
Half are, half aren't. And I'd just like consistency so we can mentally keep track of the funds. Thank you.
There's a motion in there somewhere.
No, there wasn't, but I will make one. Mayor Spooner. Mayor Spooner.
Yes.
I will make a motion to approve consent agenda items 6A through 6Q.
Second.
Motion by Ross, second by Van Sleuth on consent agenda 6A through 6Q. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Those are passed. And we have no public hearings tonight. Items for discussion. Hill Block condominiums, 217, 223 Central Avenue. City Planner Harry Davis.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Council. So the first item that I would like to talk to you about tonight is the Hill Block condominiums project. It's at 217, in between 217 and 223 Central Avenue. We'll be talking about a planned unit development or a PUD, a common interest community plat or a CIC plat, and then we'll also have a developer's platting only agreement, which is a typical thing that we find alongside a plat. The project is located downtown at, this is just a very simple location map, but in terms of the particular properties that are involved, you'll see that they're along Central Avenue between 2nd Street and 3rd. In terms of this area, it's all zoned Central Business District or CBD. And so there's a lot of flexibility there in terms of existing construction, in terms of the existing buildings that are there, as well as if there is new construction as well. For the different requests, we'll first start with the PUD. So the PUD is what would end up being an overlay over these 3 properties, and will allow them to be redeveloped into 7,000 square feet of commercial, as well as 19 dwelling units across these 3 properties. In addition to that redevelopment or rehabilitation of the existing buildings to include that square footage and those dwelling units, there's a rear addition that will help facilitate ADA access for the entire building through an elevator, as well as providing another point of egress as there are stairs that are kind of ringing around this elevator shaft. The developer or the applicant for this is proposing that they include parks fees, as well as an easement for the existing public alleyway in the back. The CIC is something that is a little bit new to the city, or the common interest community plat is something new to the city. Most of the time when we are dealing with CIC plats, they've gone through the county. This is the first time that the city has reviewed a CIC plat at the very beginning. Don't be afraid. This is not going to, this is not a truly outlandish process. It's no different than any other plat. In this case, there's a very limited amount for us to look at. The CIC plat is creating common areas as well as the condos for each of the individual properties. It's not doing anything special, and it's really more focused on the building itself. And then the very last thing that we have is the development agreement. So this sets development expectations. It sets the amount of parks fees. So some of the things that we already talked about, and just making sure that the developer or the applicant is being held to what they have proposed as a part of the PUD and the plat. So these are the existing conditions for these three properties. I've highlighted somewhat the existing building in gray to kind of give you an idea about the footprint for the existing building. And, sorry. Apologize. So the addition is highlighted in yellow. So that is where the new elevator as well as the stairs are going to be. A lot of this redevelopment is going to be focused on the interior of the buildings that are currently on the property. There's one building that is 2 stories, but the other 2 buildings are 3 stories. It'll be focused mostly within those buildings, aside from the elevator addition. And then the sort of gray, bluish area in the back is where the applicant is proposing that the city acquire an easement to make sure that the public alleyway that the city has been maintaining for a long time, that actually ends up within city control and it be city maintained. These are some of the floor plans from these 3 buildings. You'll see that in the first floor that is facing central, it'll be completely commercial. There are no residential units. Actually, in the basement, there are 2 residential units. Those will be facing the alleyway. The rest of those dwelling units will be on the 2nd and the 3rd floors. The exterior of these buildings are not going to change significantly other than maybe some small changes to the storefronts. So far, it seems like that they are meeting the intent of the Historic District guidelines for Central Avenue. So we don't anticipate any issues as it goes forward. They will have to get a certificate of appropriateness from the HPC to do that. But generally, what they're proposing seems, pretty within scale for Central Avenue. So for the PUD, we do find that it meets our requirements for approval. They are asking for some leeway on some of the requirements for PUDs as well as general development requirements. One of them is open space on the property. In terms of some of the allowances that they've asked for, it makes sense for a property where they're using existing buildings, wanting to preserve the historic character of downtown by keeping these buildings, that there be some leeway as a part and baked into the PUD process for these properties. We do feel like it makes sense alongside the parks fees that are being provided and the needed alleyway easement. The CIC, we believe, is consistent with our city standards for approval, so we're not worried about that, as well as the development agreement, which supports both of these prior proposals. The Planning Commission did unanimously support this project. One member of the public that was at the meeting did speak out against the project. They were concerned about some of the impacts that might happen upon their property, as well as just the general density, another 19 units located downtown. But in general, it's meeting our comprehensive plan. It's furthering the goals of our downtown plan as well, and it meets all of our zoning requirements. So we are recommending that you approve the associated ordinance and resolutions. And with that, I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Davis, commercial condos or just residential condos?
Mr. Mayor, I do believe that it's currently more focused on the idea to create residential condos. I think that it's also kind of looking at the existing lots and saying, well, we don't really want to mess a whole lot with that. So it's setting them up for success in the future. It's not necessarily changing things now, but it's kind of setting them up for the future.
Okay, so the 19 residential units would probably be 19 condos, or?
Those would likely be the condos, I think, going into the future.
And just by your wording, I'm kind of guessing that they would hold them for now and rent them and then sell them in the future? Is that kind of their intention?
Mr. Chair, I believe that is the intent. I'm not going to speak a whole lot in
Right,
terms
yeah.
of
No,
the
and if we
applicant's
don't know, yeah.
intent, but I believe in some of our conversations, yes, that is what they said.
I couldn't read the little tiny writing, but any idea on bedrooms, what we're talking? How many ones, twos? And if you don't, that's fine.
Yeah, that's a great question. I haven't sat down and count the number of bedrooms. I know that from the previous unit mix tables that I've seen, that it's more focused on 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom. There might be 2 or more 3 bedrooms, but it is more focused on a lower number of bedrooms.
Okay.
I believe generally what they are doing is intending to market these towards young professionals.
Okay. I really don't have a problem with this, this project at all. Just for the rest of the council, if you don't know, this isn't uncommon. We've had at least a couple in Faribault that I can point out. The Depot Square building, Larry Harn and Jeannie Harn divided those offices up and sold them as office condos. And they retained some to rent out and sold the rest off. No residential, just all office. And then I'm pretty sure that the Redemption building, the 6 units on the upper 2 floors, I believe were set up as condos. Check me on that, but I believe they were, because I think they were originally going to be set up as condos and sold off. So this isn't an uncommon method of setting up a property like this. So that's all I
Other
have.
questions, Mr. Rowe?
So, Councilmember Ross, what is a commercial condo? Just a condo owned by a company?
CIC just stands for Communities in Common. It's a state designation. And basically, if you had a commercial condo in the Depot Square building, you would own that condo as Geek Central.
Okay, instead of an individual.
Well, yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter if they own it as an individual or as a business, but yes, it's set up for your business. It's not residential.
Got it, thank you.
Yeah, and Councilmember Ross, just to bounce off of your questions, we did meet with the builder, the contractor for our HRA meetings, and he did state that some would be 1 bedroom, I think most would be 2, if I remember correctly, and we had asked him how long he had planned on owning, and he said at least 10 years.
I guess I'll entertain some motions here. Ordinance 2026-05.
Yeah, Mayor Spooner.
Yes.
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 2026-05.
Second.
Motion by Ross, second by Teal. This is a roll call. Heather.
Aye.
Or Ross?
Aye.
Rowan?
Aye.
Pensus?
Aye.
Teal?
Aye.
Mayor Spooner?
Aye. On to resolution 2026-111, approval of the CIC plat.
Mayor Spooner?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2026-111.
Motion by Van Sluis, second by Barnes. All those in favor of resolution 2026-111 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? That passes. Resolution 2026-112, authorization of the execution of the CIC.
Mayor Spooner.
Yes.
I make a motion to approve resolution 2026-112.
I'll second.
Motion by Teal, second by Rowan. All those in favor of resolution signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That also passes. Excuse me. Ordinance 2026-06, approval of the text amendment for data centers in a I-2 zone. Once again, Planning Manager Harry Davis.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. So the item in front of you is a request brought forth from city staff on direction from city administration and the city attorney's office. It's a zoning text amendment focused on adopting a definition for what is a data center, as well as adding them as a permitted by right use within I2 heavy industrial zoning districts. This is the definition. It's relatively straightforward. We have kind of borrowed this from a few different other municipalities, just to get an idea as to how we might be able to comprehensively define what is a data center. And then in terms of the other change to allow within I2, this is what it would generally look like within the land use tables within the I2 zoning district. So, you'll see data centers listed there and a P under I2. This is not allowing data centers in any other zoning district or in any other overlay district. This is just focused on allowing them in our heavy industrial district. In terms of a zoning text amendment, we do feel like that this clarifies the ordinance going forward and makes it abundantly clear to both applicants as well as the public as to where a data center is allowed, what is a data center, and where a data center is not allowed. From the Planning Commission, they did unanimously recommend approval of this zoning text amendment, but they did strongly encourage City Council to adopt specific design standards within a reasonable amount of time. There was a lot of discussion about this. There were a lot of members of the public that spoke generally against the idea of data centers. But in summary, the zoning text amendment does meet our comprehensive plan goals as well as the zoning requirements. And so we are recommending that you approve ordinance 2026-06.
Any questions, Mr. Rowan?
Well, we've got questions. Can you put page 4 back up? So the definition you went with is a data center is an establishment engaging in the storage, management, processing, and/or transmission of digital data, housing computers and network equipment, systems, servers, appliances, and other associated components related to digital data operations. This is overly broad. As a person who's owned and operated 3 ISPs, I would have been directly affected by this. As the owner of Geek Central Computer Repair, we would be covered under this. Russ Consulting would be covered under this. Wells Fargo would be covered under this. Rice County would be covered under this, and possibly even the city of Faribault. It's horrible. This needs to go back to committee for clarification.
Thank you, Mayor. I know you didn't have a map up there, but I'm looking at the beacon map. Is zone I2, is that the purplish color, do you know, or?
Yes, yeah, I2 would be kind of the most purple of the different purple colors on that map.
And remind me what blue is.
Blue would be IP Industrial Park.
And then what color is I1?
I1 is a lighter purple. It's kind of like lilac.
Okay, zone 1 is light purple, zone 2 for industrial is dark purple.
More like a royal purple, yes.
Okay, got it. Thank you. That's all, Mayor.
Councilperson Barnes.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a question. The planning committee highly recommended establishing design standards. Do you believe this is something we should be doing first before designating a zone for a very vague proposed change?
Mr. Mayor, so this has been something that we've been directed to by city administration as well as by our legal counsel and those that are representing us, that this is something that we have to do. There's a lot of discussion at the state level about what the state is going to do in terms of regulations. That's something that might come, it might not. We're just not sure. There's a lot of general confusion, I think, as well as some sitting and waiting. But this has been something that has been recommended that we do. So from a legal standpoint, this helps protect us. I do disagree that this is broad. When it says an establishment, that is a business. That is a business that's focusing on the idea of what you would consider to be a data center. This is not meant to and will not include anyone that happens to have a server within their building or within their business. I disagree completely with that. It is going to be focused on those that are focused on housing data or transmitting data. This is not going to focus on anyone else. But to answer your question, this is something that we've been directed to do. From a legal standpoint, this helps protect us.
Yep, I understand, and I understand why we need to designate certain areas for this reason. I get it. But this is like saying, I'm allergic to chocolate. Do you want chocolate pie or chocolate cake? So I'm not for the data center. I'll just state it. But my question would be, you had mentioned a moratorium, and I know that was discussed. I would suggest we do a one-year moratorium to get more information and to see where this is headed. And also, the last question I have, Mr. Davis, is from what I understand, where the data center is proposed to be built, it sounds like once, let's say everything's said and done, it's built, it was approved. I understand that every 3 years they could add on, and we wouldn't need to do any more environmental studies. It wouldn't be such a big process as it is right now. Is that a true statement?
Mr. Mayor, I'm just trying to figure out, is this something that we can discuss with the ongoing litigation?
Yeah, we're on a borderline there.
I would suggest not talking about, we don't
Correct.
have an official application from anyone.
For the
that's
record, for
before
the general
council.
public, we are still under litigation as far as the proposed data center. And our legal counsel has stressed us not to discuss anything about the question of a data center is proposed. That's a bad way to say it. You know what I mean? Ron.
So again, my opinion is I would like to see this tabled, so I'm going to make a motion to, do we have to go for
Public hearing here. This is
Okay.
just item for discussion.
So I make a motion that we table this back to committee.
I would second that.
Is there any further discussion?
Yeah, Mayor.
Yes.
Councilmember Rowan, are you talking like, I understand what you're saying. Are you looking for something like an establishment engaging for profit in the storage management processing? Because like you said, a bank stores tons of information, but they're not doing the storing of for profit. So I think, we're going to have some.
Well, to answer your
parameters here.
question, I'm more concerned of like my business and the Russ Consulting, right? Type businesses where they have external data that's not theirs, right? Without getting into their business model. It definitely fits into this. Same thing with internet service providers, your telephone companies. The language just has to, I get that Mr. Davis is talking about an establishment, right? And I think something before that or after that would narrow it, that would satisfy it. But as it sits now, it literally would affect internet service providers and other businesses in the community. We can think anything we want of the language, but ultimately it's the courts that have to interpret it. And I just don't see a good outcome with that.
Yes, because I have some questions yet for Mr. Davis. In our ordinance has, until to now, have we ever used the word data centers?
Our ordinance currently does not include
Does
data
not
centers.
do anything, and just for the general public. This is so we can actually talk about what a data center is, potentially where it should go, or whether it should not go somewhere. This is allowing us the ability to actually speak on behalf of what we want a data center to be, correct?
Yes, Mayor.
Thank you. All right. I, I understand I have a vote on a motion and a second. And we're gonna have a vote on that, but I'm just gonna say we have a 2-week grace period here. This is an ordinance. If you'd like to give planning, department a chance to verbally massage that paragraph, I'm gonna move it forward. I'm not gonna vote to table it, so. Any other discussion?
So you want me to change my motion?
I cannot tell you what to do.
No, I'm trying to get clarification. So you would support my motion
I'm
if
gonna
I said
vote-
you
I'm gonna
guys?
vote against your motion, but if you wanted to say, Mr. Davis, please come back with a better verbiage on this paragraph, I would recommend that.
Yeah, and I'm fine with that. But I'm not going to approve this tonight. So do we want to act on my motion? I guess
Or
we
would you
should.
like to withdraw your motion? Would you like to withdraw your motion?
No.
Okay, then we're gonna vote on it. We have a motion and a second to table this. Any further discussion? All right, motion to table this. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Hold on, this is a roll call.
Not for the tabling,
Oh,
no.
all right. All those in favor to table signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Nay.
Nay.
Oh, 4-2. 4-2, it is tabled. Okay?
Just to clarify, our next work session on the 21st, we will have this item on there.
Correct.
Yep.
Thank you.
And I would be happy to sit down with you and your staff in that process to find something that works.
All right. On to item C, ordinance 2026-07, approval of a zoning text amendment for childcare in a P1 zoning district. Harry Davis, Planning Manager.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. So this next item before you is another staff-initiated proposal. It's a zoning text amendment to include childcare centers as a permitted by right use within PI or public institutional zoning districts. The change would be pretty simple. It would be adding a line to our land use table, and then only under PI would there be a P, meaning that it would be a permitted use within public institutional zoning districts. We do feel like that this is a needed change. We're seeing a lot of interest in childcare centers. We do feel like that there is really good opportunities for synergy between uses, between childcare centers and places of worship, institutions, organizations, whether they are educational or religious-based, and allows a lot more childcare locations within the city. The Planning Commission did unanimously support the request. We do think that it meets the comprehensive plan and zoning requirements, so we are recommending that you approve, and I do apologize, it should be ordinance 2026-07.
All right, thank you. Any questions for Planning Manager?
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Davis, this sounds to me like something that we have already had in practice, is it not? And I'll give you the specific example of South Central College. 15 years ago, they had a daycare on site, so their students could, go to college classes, and they had a daycare. That's an example of this, right?
Mr. Mayor, so the public institutional zoning district did not exist until, I don't know, maybe 5 years, 6 years ago. So this, yes, there might be examples where that is currently in place. What this would allow is sort of legitimize that and not have them go through special approvals to expand or something like that. And it would allow the idea to have within the same campus a bunch of different principal uses without having to try to figure out, okay, from a zoning administrator standpoint, how can I make a determination that continues to allow this, or what's the best method for it? This just says yes, this is allowed. So this clarifies that.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. Yeah, I see no problem.
Can you pull up a zoning map so I can kind of see what areas, if you'd be so kind?
Sure. So I apologize for all of my planning nerd friends here and at home. The numbers are, or I'm sorry, the colors are slightly off. In this case, institutional, the PI zoning district is kind of this grayish color. I'm going to see what I can do to clean up the map. So you can
Like
see
that school there?
Yeah, so,
Okay.
you know, Shattuck, the correctional facility, the correction center, different schools across the city, those are all PI or public institutional, as well as Bethlehem Academy. So, does that help?
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Any other questions? This time I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor Spooner.
Yes.
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 2026-07.
Second.
Motion by Ross, second by Van Sluis on ordinance 2026-7. This is a roll call.
Councilmember Barnes?
Aye.
Ross?
Aye.
Rowan?
Aye.
Fences?
Aye.
Teal?
Aye.
Mayor Spooner?
Aye. Thank you. That passes. On to item 9, bids. Resolution 2026-108, accepting the bids for miscellaneous concrete projects. Engineering Director Mark Duchesne.
Thank you, Mayor Spooner, members of the council and the public. Before you tonight, we've got our first of 3 bids that were received within the month of April. This bid was opened on April 1st for our miscellaneous concrete contract. A reminder, this contract we bid out annually, and it covers random things that happen throughout the year, repairs of concrete items related to water main breaks. The Parks Department may need some concrete replaced in a park here or there. This allows us to have a contractor on the ready, under contract, to take care of these miscellaneous things that pop up throughout the year. The contract typically runs May through November. You'll see the low bid from Create Construction LLC of $91,248. The reality is we usually spend about a third of that each year, but we bid a bunch of concrete items so that if anything pops up, we're ready for it, can address it in a timely manner. So with that, I do ask you to consider Resolution 2026-108, awarding a contract for the miscellaneous concrete to Create Construction.
Any questions? Entertain a motion.
Mayor Spooner? Yes. I make a motion to approve Resolution 2026-108.
Second.
Motion by Van Sluis, second by Teal to approve resolution 2026-108. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That passes. On to resolution 2026-109. Accepting bids for street reconstructions. Once again, Mark Duchesne.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council and the public. This is 2 contracts that we bid in one package. The first contract is 2603, which is our street reconstruction improvements. This includes the reconstruction of 2nd Street Northwest from 1st Avenue Northwest to 4th Avenue Northwest, as well as the reconstruction of 1st Avenue Northwest from 3rd Street Northwest to 4th Street or Trunk Highway 60 Northwest. We also bid in the same bid package due to the proximity and the similarity and scope of work. Contract 2606, which is the parking lot 21 improvements. These are the new public parking lot located at the northeast quadrant of the block at State Highway 60 or 4th Street Northwest and 1st Avenue Northwest. These bids were both opened together on April 8th, last Wednesday. The low bid came from Holtmeyer Construction, and you can see we had 9 bidders on this project. It's probably the most bidders we've had on a reconstruction project in a number of years. While the bid from Holtmeyer was a little over 2% over the engineer's estimate, we do feel like these are adequate bids, and we're not likely to do any better to delay the project or move on. Again, similar to our overlay project this year, it seems like a lot of the cost increases are due to uncertainty and volatility in the oil and bituminous market right now. So again, I don't think even if that volatility went away, if we waited it and extended this out, inflation's going to get us more than 2% likely anyways. And when we look at the tightness of a majority of these bids, again, I am recommending that we approve these bids. Staff will come forward with a budget amendment once we have final contract numbers. We traditionally underrun our contracts, so we'll come back with one budget amendment at that time for those bids. But I will stand for any other questions. Otherwise, we are recommending approval of Resolution 109. You can see here the total project funding is split amongst our various capital funds, our street improvement fund, and our utility funds. This also does still include a small 5% construction contingency, so it's likely that these numbers will come down before the final. Project schedule-wise, I have talked to the contractor. They anticipate getting going pretty quick on this project, so maybe late May, for sure early June, they want to get going on this contract. There is a provision in the contract that they can't start on First Avenue until after an event that's scheduled by one of the adjacent businesses down there. So they'll likely start on Second Street and then move on to First Avenue in the parking lot. So, sorry, I jumped a little bit ahead there, but now I'll stand for any questions and ask you to consider the
Any questions for
resolution.
staff?
No.
All right. Yes. Oh, that's a yeah. I thought that was a no.
No, it's like this. I don't want a card. No hit.
What do you got?
Thank you, Mayor. Just, so it's publicly stated, I'll ask the same question I asked last time for this, but the two streets have been on our street reconstruction map for several years. And just going through the
First Avenue
period.
was scheduled, I think this is the third year it's been moved into the CIP. We were kind of waiting for the redevelopment of the Henry M. Rice block, as it's officially known now. We've been waiting to make sure we didn't redo the street and put a driveway location or not put a driveway location in and then dig into a brand new street. So that one has been in there. Second Street similarly has just moved up annually through the year, and this was its year to be done, yes.
I just want to make sure that the public knows that both of these street projects were planned years in advance. It's not like it just come up and we're doing the streets in front of the city first, Thank you.
Mayor Spooner. Yes. I make a motion to approve Resolution 2026-109.
Second.
Motion by Barnes, second by Ross. All those in favor of Resolution 109 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Passes. Resolution 2026-110, accepting bids and designs for Viaduct Park Phase 2. Mark, are you going to take this one? I have a different, are you doing it?
I'm going to do it. And,
Director Duchesne, I have a different in my notes, so I just don't want to call you by the bad name. Mr. Mark Duchesne, Director of Engineering.
Thank you, Mr. Spooner, Mayor Spooner, and members of the council and the public. Yes, before you tonight is awarding a contract for the construction of the Viaduct Park Ice Shelter. This contract, or bids were also opened last Wednesday, April 8th. We received one bid from Metcon Construction at just under $650,000. I will say that due to some timelines and constraints that we were working with, we did vet out multiple different structures. And in order to get something built down there at Viaduct Park by this fall, we needed to pick a structure and bid it so that we could keep things moving. I can say, like I said, we vetted out multiple different structures. A Butler structure ended up being the most economical, and so we bid a Butler structure. There are numerous or more than just Metcon Butler installers in the area. However, Metcon was the only installer that elected to bid this. So this was not a sole source bid. It was publicly bid. There were options for other contractors to bid this, but we did receive the one bid from Metcon Construction at just under $650,000. This does fit within the project allocation. We have a total $3.6 million budget for Phase 2 of Viaduct Park. This fits within the allocation of what was it for the Viaduct Park ice shelter structure. So I will stand for any other questions, but otherwise we are recommending award of Resolution 2026-110.
No card.
Up here for 9 years, and I just figured out tonight that this means no. All right, at this time, I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor Spooner.
Yes.
I make a motion to approve Resolution 2026-110.
Second.
Motion by Barnes, second by Teal. All those to approve Resolution 2026-110 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Resolution passes. Boards, commission reports, announcements. Anybody have anything? Kinzer, City Administrator.
I just wanted to have Heather select a city clerk highlight kind of what today has been like with, a hailstorm coming through and the response that we've gotten.
Our licensing software is working fabulously for registering all of our solicitors.
Since this morning, we had 36 solicitors register within the city. So along with a number of calls on how to register and a number of calls from residents asking if people are registered. So I should note that you can find that information on our website. If you go to our permitting and licensing site on our link on our website, you're able to search for solicitors, and they're all listed on there. And I do encourage members of the public to reach out to the city if they have any questions regarding if somebody's registered, or if they want to let us know that somebody is not registered. All solicitors have been emailed a registration certificate from the city. They are not signed. Our Tyler system does not have our signatures implemented yet. However, there are examples of that on our social media and our website. So,
Ask a question.
Yes.
Heather, so I've received probably 30 phone calls. Is that a part of the solicitor list? Okay,
phone
this
calls
is
are
only
not.
door knocking, correct?
This is door
Okay.
knocking, yes. So,
Thank
and
you.
I will say all of the companies have been really patient and really wonderful to work with for this. So, although I know people don't like them going door to door, they have been very, very good to us here at City Hall.
They're doing it the right way. That's good.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else got anything? At this time, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Warren, second by Vance Luce to adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? We are in adjournment, but we are